What is the best way to grow and maintain an alliance here in Warpath? This is a question I've generally been asked quite a few times, and I thought why not make a video explaining the best ways to maintain, build, and create an alliance here in Warpath. I want to say a massive thank you to each and every single one of you who tune into my videos. In just over 1 month's time, on the 1st of May, it is my birthday, and I'm wondering, can we hit 1,000 subs by then? Just have a look down below, guys. If you haven't done so, please think about subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. It'd be the best birthday present ever. So let me know down in the comments, guys, if this video has helped you in any way, shape, or form. Let's jump straight into it. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been joining the Discord. It has been blowing up, and you guys have been having so many conversations over there. Massive thank you. I really do appreciate it. Please let me know if you are joining the Discord for the Warpath. We'll be able to give you that special Warpath crew tag. Once again, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you all. Let's jump straight into the video. So, guys, the first thing I'm going to talk about is kind of how every alliance starts, and that's by recruiting members. Now, obviously, at the very start of a game, if you're brand new and, you know, just forming an alliance, most alliances can easily fill up, depending whether or not you're going to be in an active city, an active alliance, and growing members kind of at the start is pretty easy. But how to maintain these players and keep your alliance active is definitely going to be the hardest thing. For someone like myself, guys, I am currently the deputy leader of my alliance, and long story short, I am also one of the main people who goes about recruiting new members. And with regards to this, guys, the best way for me to find out who these members will be that would suit my alliance is definitely going to be in the L4s. Now, once you are in a level 4 city, that's the easiest way to find new players, because you're always going to be coming up against people from other servers, other alliances, and it's not just going to be the same people in your own server, because obviously the people in your server, they're kind of comfortable in their own homes, and it does take a lot more work to try and get those people to come over. But if you're in a level 4 and you're fighting against someone and they can see how well you're working as a team, communicating and pushing through the other alliances, they might have a stronger feeling of maybe joining you. And with this being said, guys, it's always good to try and look for members who are actively fighting, actively playing, instead of just trying to find farmers. Now, a lot of people do complain about having farmers in the alliance, but at the same time, not everyone is able to play 24/7. It all depends, guys, what kind of alliance you want. If you want an alliance that is always going to be active, fighting, then you're going to need to be recruiting those type of players. For me personally, I always like to check in the level 4. I like to go to the kills, and then when you go to the kills here, it kind of gives you a gauge of to see who is actually actively fighting. And as you can see, I'm number 96. I haven't done any fighting this level 4. I've genuinely been spending my time kind of watching my alliance fight and kind of learning and trying to help them progress through. And unfortunately, not many people in my alliance right now. You've got Death Ghost here, who's the 9th place, but if any of you have been watching me for a decent amount of time, I'm normally within the top 5 on the kill leaderboard here. But unfortunately, guys, our enemies are completely safe zone, and they just do not want to come out to fight. With that being said, I haven't been able to get any fighting in, but instead I've been taking my time to kind of learn and adjust and help other people in the game. As I was saying, guys, what I normally like to do is I go through checking to see who has been doing really well. Now, AAO are our enemies, and Chaos is one of the people we've been fighting all the time, and he would be someone who I'd be feeling very comfortable in approaching and maybe asking him if he's got any intentions of finding a new alliance, and, you know, we'll see where that goes. This is going to be probably your number 1 way of finding new players, is finding out who you've been fighting within the level 4s, and then kind of just approaching them, being nice and kind, explaining the fact that you're an active alliance and you are trying to find new players to always join. And I would say within the last 2 to 3 level 4s, we've managed to recruit at least 8 to 10 players within the last 2 or 3 level 4 cities. The next thing we're going to talk about here, guys, is the diplomacy. Now, this could be a very, very stressful part, because at the end of the day, you just want to come online, play a video game, and have a bit of fun, but it gets very strategic, and diplomacy is a very big part within these types of games. That being said, is who are your allies, who are the enemies, and genuinely within an alliance, you normally have a couple of people who take care of this. When it comes to making those diplomatic relations, I personally would advise you not to message just the leader or just the diplomat. For sure, guys, this person in an alliance may have the diplomatic role, doesn't necessarily they mean they do the actual diplomatic relations, because at the end of the day, it does in fact still give you a buff, and to not give it to someone would kind of just be wasting it. So sometimes, guys, an alliance will literally give a member of the alliance a role just so that someone can get a buff, or for example, if they're in a different time zone, they might be able to then sort out treaties when other people are asleep. But that's kind of a generic thing. I see a lot of people focusing on talking just to a diplomat because they've got a diplomat role. It isn't always the case. Always try and find out who actually does all of this sort of diplomatic relations. This is going to be a very important thing so that there's no miscommunication down the line. So guys, if we jump into the rankings, a lot of people will look at the alliance rankings of power and they say, oh well, RB must be the team you want to have as an ally because they're the strongest. A lot of people tend to just navigate straight to the strongest players, and honestly sometimes can work, sure, but at the same time, although we are last here on power, we are actually, if you go to the kill leaderboard, we're the third on kills. So like, we genuinely do a lot of killing considering we're quite weak players compared to the other people in this level 4. And with that being said guys, I feel like whenever you are looking to see who your allies are, it tends to be the kill leaderboard that I go to. So as you can see here, I was approached by the people of TC. They are already friends with Stormforce and they asked if I want to become an ally. Now normally most people would look at this power leaderboard, and seeing that we are the weakest power out of everyone, I was surprised that someone reached out to me. So I done my research and I had a look, and I could tell that, you know, the people reaching out that wanted to be allies, they wouldn't knowing how to fight. And honestly guys, this is how I personally find it's the best way to kind of do these diplomatic relations, trying to find out who you want as an ally. In this game, you don't want farmers as allies because they can't help you. They might enjoy their game. I'm not saying it's a bad way to play the game. If you enjoy farming, you enjoy farming. But if you want to win the level 4 conquest, you do need to do a lot of killing, and you need to make sure you are active in being able to do so. So guys, that is going to be my personal tip on the best way to kind of work around your diplomatic solutions, is to try and find the allies who are able to do a lot of killing and work well as a team. So guys, the next thing we're going to talk about is territorial control. Now, as you can see here, we started down here in this settlement. There is an enemy alliance up here in the north, and there is also an enemy alliance down here in the south. Now for us, we had an option. We could either go north or we could head down south, but we also had allies that were on the other side. Now we decided to let these allies focus down here on the south, and we decided to go up north and stop the enemy alliance coming out from the settlement. Now the best way I can kind of explain to you how to build a safe territory, whenever leaving your settlement, you kind of want to head towards your nearest fort and your nearest town. This is going to kind of be the best strategy overall. Sometimes what we would do, depending on whether or not we have a coalition to help us, sometimes we'll build our CC straight away at the town, or we'd even build the CC straight away at the fort, so that we have a very formidable alliance territory within that area. But at the same time, this could also be dangerous because you're not in a safe zone and you can get approached by many alliances around the map. So for us, we kind of got lucky and we managed to come out and we managed to beat AAO out of the safe zone. So we had already had our CC built, and we was already building our first couple of villages before they even managed to get their CC built. So by the time we managed to get a couple of villages, we trucked on up over here and we parked our little bases in this sort of general area. And when we managed to park our bases in this area, it meant that they had to remove us before they could build. Therefore, we kind of had them halted here. They weren't able to progress out, and eventually we managed to build all of this before they could kill us, and thus they decided to head north. But we also by that time had a lot more resources available because we had been growing our settlement, we had been growing everything, and we just built up north and stopped them in their tracks in this location here and also up here. Now, as always guys, this isn't always going to be how it works. Sometimes we'll be held in a safe zone. It can happen either way, but just because guys you are down doesn't mean you're out for the count. Definitely try and find new solutions on how to break out of a safe zone. It generally is a bit of a hard thing to do sometimes, especially if you're being held in by an entire alliance, but at the same time it is going to be a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of action if you are locked inside of the safe zone. The next thing I want to talk about as an alliance here is going to be kind of talking about the different events available. Now there is one event going on right now, and it is called Distract and Destroy. Now what you have to do for this is you need Raven flags, and you also need to complete and destroy Frenzied Raven bunkers. Now to do this, you need to be able to go into your alliance and you need to be able to create an army group. And once you've created an army group, you simply need to find these bunkers, and when you find them, you would simply just do a challenge on them. And when you challenge them, what happens is you end up using one of these Raven flags, which kind of gives you better rewards, but also it gives you points towards completing these challenges. Now with regards to these events guys, what you want to do is you want to try and get rallies with 15 different members in, so that way you can share the rewards as best as possible. If you have 2 troops, don't be putting 2 troops into the rally, especially when they're designed especially for these type of events. Working as a team is always going to be the best way possible. So therefore, you're going to want to try and fill up with single units and 15 different members. Then that way you could try and conquer through these missions as quick as possible using the least amount of resources. And those resources being the flags, because the flags can be pretty hard to get if you don't have a lot of energy. The next event we could talk about, guys, is going to be, for example, the paratroopers. We've actually just completed the paratroopers today, and what the paratroopers is, guys, is you need to try and survive waves and waves and waves of different kind of raven that spawn in, and once you do that, you're going to be able to get some better rewards. Now, if for example you have a weaker member who maybe can't survive this event, best thing to do is get them to park their base right above you as close as they can, and then the stronger player can maybe have their howitzer out. Their howitzer can then defend not only their own base, but then they could also defend the other bases. This is a very, very good option, and definitely going to be a very solid way to work as a team, so that you could try and get as many of you to be getting and completing the highest level difficulty, and that way you're going to be getting more resources and more rewards. And finally, we're also going to talk a little bit about combat drills. Now, what combat drills is bi-weekly, so every other week you're going to get something called combat drills, where the more people you kill, the more rewards you get. Now, some people might not be strong enough to be able to get as many kills of others, and if that is the case, simply help your alliance out. Now, what you could do, guys, is one of your alliance members who may be struggling to get these rewards, they could leave the alliance temporarily, and then maybe you could feed them kills. Maybe send a unit to the base that maybe it's not going to do too much damage on its own, and you can kind of feed them kills. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, but of course, if there are members who are kind of struggling to reach those max rewards, it doesn't hurt to help them. I know some people might not like, you know, their KD ratio going down, but at the end of the day, it's all about teamwork, guys. This game is built around teamwork, so trying to help your alliance members out can really benefit not only you in the long run, but also helping to teach and grow your fellow alliance members. So guys, we're now going to move on to the leadership roles. Now, if you want to become potentially a leader, deputy leader, or even an officer, which is an R4, and these sort of guys are the ones who are able to kind of control and sort of help build the alliance to become much stronger and bigger. I'm going to be trying to give you guys some tips if these are some of the roles you want to fulfill. So guys, a really big part of becoming an R4 in an alliance is a lot of people not necessarily look up to you, but they come to you with questions a lot of the time. So trying to be more knowledgeable about the game in general is always going to be more beneficial for you and your alliance when trying to grow and, you know, recruit new players. So with us in AFK, what we personally do is the R4 team kind of are there to sort of overlook everything. Every single person within the R4 team, including myself and my leader, because obviously I'm a deputy leader, everyone within this R4 and leadership roles, we all kind of have a duty to kind of be there and try and help grow the alliance as a whole, whether that be recruiting new players, helping existing players, giving some really good advice. And what we used to do is mostly the R4s were the ones who would control the rallies, but now that we're growing at a pretty steady rate, we are always happy for other people to be doing the rallies, but we do encourage obviously the R4 to try and help out with controlling the rallies as efficiently as possible. And the reason we normally get the R4s to lead the rallies is because they're a lot more experienced. So with the experience becomes knowledge, and with that knowledge, they could try and control these rallies at a much better and efficient way, so that they're minimizing the losses and maximizing on the gains and the kills. Another thing we're also going to talk about in today's video, guys, is we're going to look at the R4 team. And a lot of people seem to think that when it comes to a leadership, it's just the leader who is having that leadership role. The whole point of having R4s or officers, whatever you wish to call them, is going to be the fact that everyone within the R4 is going to be able to kind of control and basically run the alliance. So let's just say that for this case, Manny is our leader. If Manny is offline, even if he's offline, just say for a week, let's just say he's gone on holiday, he's not going to be able to play for a week. This is not going to happen, but let's just say that was to happen. At the end of the day, our R4 should be fully capable of being able to run the alliance without needing the approval or anything of Manny. And the same now that you've got deputy leader, you also have two people who can do that managerial role. But at the same time, guys, genuinely believe that if you are making someone an R4, you should trust them to be able to run the alliance without you. And with that being said, when I'm offline, when Manny's offline, we have full support and we genuinely believe in our R4 team. So I would trust almost every single one of these R4. I say almost, I trust all of these R4, but obviously they all bring different skill sets to the table. So for example, Shib might specialize in one thing and then Mike might specialize in another. leader. I know for a fact that Mike specializes in being a noodle, but you know, these are the different things that you need to work as. And at the same time, guys, it's all about teamwork. Whenever you have these sort of leadership roles, don't just think that it all falls on one or two people. Everyone within that R4 team should definitely be working together as a team and should be able to control and run the alliance without technically the leaders needing to be there. But of course, us leaders are always going to be more than happy to help in any way, shape or form, but it's just a little bit of a load off of the shoulders of the leaders when having that R4 team there and available to help out. Another thing, what I would advise you guys, if you are trying to make an alliance, especially if you are going to be part of a R4 team or leadership role in any way, shape or form, is try and make a secondary channel. As you can see here, guys, as a diplomat as well as an R4, a deputy leader, we currently have a R4 chat. Now this R4 chat is going to be available so that we keep all important information within this chat. And then obviously we also have level 4 allies. This is going to be the kind of diplomatic roles, and what we do is we invite people who are our allies, we invite their leadership team over into this level 4 allies chat. That way we can communicate with the other alliances without having to go through DMs, and then everyone within this group is going to be informed of the information that we're trying to share with each other. So guys, it's kind of all built in with communication. Communication is key, especially in this game, especially in any strategy game, and that is one thing I'm going to definitely advise you guys to try and focus on when it comes to building an alliance and having a good reputation. So guys, another final thing, it sounds like a very normal thing, but you will be surprised how many people do this. One thing to keep in mind, guys, about having a very successful alliance is 100% just having good communication, working well as a team, and honestly staying true to your word, guys. The amount of alliances that they appear at the start to be really nice and that, and then they just kind of either betray you, they kind of stab you in the back, they get too greedy. Like, all of this can happen, and it really is a shame to see so many different friendships ruined because of this little thing. But the best thing I could advise you guys is whenever you are within a leadership role, don't make false promises. Don't promise people that you're going to be there when you're not going to be there, and whatever the case may be, always try and fulfill the duties you've offered out. The next thing as well is especially towards your own members. I see a lot of people who just don't really care about helping their members. They'll get new members in, they won't like teach them the game. This is a key factor to retaining the members within your alliance. Definitely helping them whenever you can. If you are looking to become a leadership role within your alliance, definitely think about, you know, what that person needs, how you can help them, and even just showing them or sending them links of other ways. So maybe you might not be able to best explain how to help them in this situation, but there's probably loads of videos out there that they can learn from this, and it's definitely going to be the best way is to just communicate with your alliance, help them out when needed, and just give them the best advice you can possible. So guys, if you enjoyed this video or you have any further questions about alliances, maybe I've missed something out, please let me know down in the comments. I respond to pretty much all comments down there. And guys, I will be streaming here on Sundays during level 4s. I'm more than happy to answer any questions over there. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for all the love and support, guys. I hope you all have an absolutely beautiful and amazing day, and I'll catch you all in the next video.